Thank you very much. So, yes, we now have in our midst Kirk. Thank you very much, Kirk Dretzka, for joining us. We as a club, Project Amigo is a project that we have passion for, and we have some of our club members that they are involved in Project Amigo. We so much appreciate giving back to the community, and that is what Rotary stands for. So similar to what Project Amigo is doing. So we always love to partner with other service organizations, to learn more what they are doing, and for us as an opportunity to be able to contribute to the community through them. So fellow board members and guests, this morning we have in our midst once again Kirk. So he will tell us more about Project Amigo, and also as a club we are planning a week of service next year April. That is when we are planning, but we want to know all the things that are involved, whether Project Amigo will be able to give us the opportunity to be able to use that as our club for a project service. And there are things that we know that will be involved. So that is why we are having in our midst today a representative, so to say, from Project Amigo. So let me hand over to Kirk, maybe just for 10 to 15 minutes, for him just to tell us, yes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, if he's not up to that, just to tell us about what it involves. And if we have questions, we will use this opportunity to be able to ask him. So after this meeting, we will now relay the event to all club members so that they can be involved and informed for what we need to know. Thank you very much. So, Kirk, please take it over from me.
Okay, thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. And as is Pat, we're getting in touch with you here from beautiful Colima. While she is up on the side of the mountains up in the northern part of the state, I'm down along the coast right at the moment in Tecomán. As your president mentioned, we are a organization that has taken upon itself to support kids that have low income in rural zones of the state that are most in need of support and have a big interest in getting an education. And I'm apologizing here that I had last night my presentation right in hand, and at the moment I'm battling with it, but I'm going to make a if you'll allow me to do a
Welcome to battling technology with the rest of us.
Indeed. Well, I have a presentation I did previously here that is very close, and I'd like to. Do I have screen sharing?
Yes, yes, you have the permission, please.
Okay. Then.
Take your time. We're here.
Oh, it's okay. We'll get going here. Okay. So, Project Amigo is a organization that is rooted in Rotary. It's about bringing education to impoverished children, and it was set up by a man who originally came to the state of Colima, which you see here, to climb an active volcano that is up at the top where that arrow is, and he got mixed up and wound up in the town of and by the way, there's the active volcano, which is very close to where Pat is, but the other one in the back is actually the one you can climb. but in any case, Ted came to an area where there was a lot of impoverished children and saw a need and decided to do something about it. So he came down for a period of time and set up Christmas events for the kids, eventually came down and taught a class in typing because he came from a background of office equipment. And one of the first graduates of his typing class still works for the county the sugarcane migrant farmers workers camp in the northern part of the state, and those washing areas were built by Rotary, as was this school. But if many of these kids don't get the opportunity to study, they're left with to do things like the girls take care of the younger kids in the house, and the boys, even at a young age, going out and working in the fields. They could be cutting sugar cane or cutting blackberries or picking cherry tomatoes, whatever happens to be in season at the time. And for us, what we do is we give those kids an opportunity to do things. But in order to be part of our program, it's not just here, we'll give you the money you need for your uniforms, for your school costs, for your books, and for your pens and pencils and transportation to the schools, because many of these kids have to take a bus to get to a school. They have to maintain an 8.5 GPA in order to be in the program. They have to attend weekly homework clubs. That way we not only know that they're doing their homework, that they're up on all the requirements from the school, but the kids that have a skill that maybe others don't, or they're older, can mentor the rest. So it's a work in combination. They have to also give back to the community. 10 hours of service, and this is to establish some sense of responsibility to the community. So there's requirements of them to be in the program as well. We also have what we call service weeks, and these are usually Sunday to Sunday weeks in which people come here and work with us to participate in various things. We have an annual Christmas fiesta in which we give the kids a full change of clothing, shoes. In many cases, it's the only one they'll receive in the year. A toy, a book, and a little party. We do English tutoring. We have construction weeks. You can see the one there. This was the one that I presented to the Alaska Club, and they'll be down here in February to do some construction work. We have another one, as you can see, in March with people from Idaho. But we have literacy and culture, we have Spanish introduction, we have swimming. These are all of our season really runs from December through August, and so this is our 21-22 season. Our 22-23 season is here. All of these are available on our website. Our work weeks consist of things as you saw there. It can be reading with the kids, giving them books. We take mini libraries to give to the various public schools. We've given out probably around 300 small libraries. They're a bookcase with about 250 books in them, because literally the government provides no books in terms of a library to schools for them to have something to read that is beyond the school books that they have. It might be mentoring in English and in working in the classrooms, and sometimes as a visitor you can learn things, and what you're seeing there is not Spanish but Nahuatl, which a lot of these kids speak. And there's 1 through 5, se, ome, ye, nawi, makuyi. And so in many cases these children are learning Spanish when they go to school. And a lot of it is just having fun with the kids. They get a lot out of it, and so do you. And there's a lot of other things you can get fun with too, as you can see. We have events We have a place we call the Hacienda. It's where our offices is. We also have a kitchen area, dining room area, so that we can have groups there that participate. In this case, we have volunteers and some of our students, and they're in an ice-breaking event for the first day where they're learning some dance steps. And the young boy at the right here graduated a year ago in software engineering. So this is important to many of these kids. We have a young woman who she started out, her father took care of horses on a ranch. And when it was too rainy for her to walk uphill to the road to catch the bus, it's slippery and muddy, she had to get on a horse and ride to school. Today she's a doctor. We have a young man that came from a family of 10. He's the sixth. His mother died, and he had to take care of the youngest because the oldest were married and off or working. Did not learn Spanish. He spoke Mixteco, which is another dialect, until he was 13 when he started first grade. Eventually, he did get into a regular program and finished his high school through our program, and just in June graduated as a psychologist. So there's some very wonderful stories. For those that have been here before, that big palm tree, we had to take it down. It got very tall and the fronds were very heavy and they were falling. We were afraid they'd hit somebody. We provide also some introduction to culture to people that come down. So you'll see things like maybe folkloric dancing, or maybe take the kids down to the beach, which many of them have seen the ocean, but maybe don't get a chance to actually go and interact. In this case, they've gone to a turtle sanctuary where they get the eggs that the turtles lay, and the sanctuary hatches them to prevent them from being taken by people that then sell them for food. And we go down there and are able to release the young turtles into the ocean. So it's a great experience in the cycle of life for the children, and for us too. And in that aspect, the good and the bad. I was there one time when one little turtle just about to hit the ocean, an albatross swept down and picked it up, and well, and that's what nature is about. Mm-hmm. Some of the work is things like wrapping up the Christmas gifts. And that's the kitchen dining room area of our hacienda that we call it. Our Christmas fiesta includes a Santa Claus, which is always a big hit for the kids because it's probably the only time they'll ever see it. We have started recently cooking classes, so you can come down and learn how to cook some real Mexican food. In general, we do have a lot of support from Rotary. We have from other sources, but it's the backbone of our organization. And one of the things that's very important here is 97% of our children come from families where the parents have at best an elementary education. The doctor that I was telling you about, her father has a 3rd grade education, the mother is 6th grade. A few of the parents may have some junior high school. And we have put over 800 kids through 12th grade, which is a huge step. Not all of them are ready culturally to jump into university and to put on a suit and tie and go out and work in the industrial world. So getting this far means they don't have to go out and work in the field. They can get a job that pays more than their parents have, and their children will go on to university. At the same time, we're very proud to say that we have now put 94 young people through university. 2 with master's degrees. We have 2 more that will be starting master's degrees very shortly, and we have one that's going to be starting a PhD. And we have a house in the city of Colima in which we can house students that live too far away to come and go every day from their house to the university. So they'll come in on Monday, they'll go to classes, and they'll stay at this house, and they have internet access to computers. There's a house mother that cooks for them, and the girls sleep downstairs, the boys upstairs. The house mother's room is at the foot of the stairs, and she makes sure that they don't meet in the middle. And we keep a gallery. In the background you can see pictures of our university graduates. The young woman you see in the front is a blind from birth woman who was already in her 20s, and no school would accept her for high school because she was blind. And it took us a great deal of work with the dean and his wife at the university to get her accepted into one of the high schools that the university runs as feeder programs. Today she is 2 years away from a law degree. The woman in blue was our very first college graduate, and she has a law degree, and she's one of the two that has a master's degree, and she was the first woman to be commissar of the village that she was born and raised in. The two gentlemen in the back are swearing her into office, and the Rotarians that are around her are there to witness it. The gentleman on the right, the bald man, that's Ted Rose. He's the founder of our program. Still lives in Cofradia with his wife Susan. And I just wanted to show you some of the things that come from what we do. Guillermina is a young woman who graduated as an accountant, comes from a small village, or town actually, just south of the city of Colima, Coquimatlan. And she today works for a construction company, and they build spec homes and sell them. And you can see the house there in the middle. That's an example of the houses they build. She's in the sales department and processes the loan papers. She's married, has 2 children. The 6-year-old that you see on the right is her daughter that is just started first grade this year. So we keep in touch. We've got an alumni club, and they stay in touch with us. This is a wonderful young woman. She's from Cofradia, and she wanted to learn pastries, gastronomy, and she went through school, and today she is, you can see her there working away at her business. She does a lot of pastries, but mostly cakes and other things. You can see the cookies she's setting up there for a birthday party. But on top of that, we have a fund that we have set up that allows these graduates to borrow from it to start a business. And she borrowed money, and the refrigerator on the left and the mixer on the lower right were items that she bought from that loan. And the one at the top was bought by the gentleman who sponsors her, who happened to have been from Alaska. And she's doing a wonderful job right now with her business. But I'm very impressed. Jorge, the Director of Student Services that I have here for this wonderful man who keeps the kids interested, running in line. He says this young woman is so prompt that the morning and that her payment is due. What we do is we set it up so that they have to pay back 66%. We give them 33%. They have a 90-day grace period, and they have a year to pay it back. The morning it's due, she's at his door to turn in the money. And there she is, frontal picture. And here's some of the items that she has made and sold. Oops, missed one there. She's, and like this, we have a young woman who set up a graphic design business, and she bought a machine to emboss cups and t-shirts. She's already paid back her loan. We have another young man who set up a roadside coffee shop, and he is well on his way to paying back his loan too. So it's been a very successful program, and we've launched kids This young woman, by the way, in this picture, she lives with her mother and father. Her older sister, who was married with 2 children, the sister and the husband died in an auto accident, and she, with her cakes, and her mother are bringing up the 2 young orphan kids in their family. But these are kids, like I said, that come from families that otherwise would have worked in the field or cleaning houses or in construction or something like that. So it's a wonderful program. The item on everybody's mind today is, of course, COVID and what it's doing in the world, and where can you go, where can't you go, and what should you do. What I can tell you is Colima has the lowest number of cases of any state in Mexico. I had an updated version of this. I've lost on my system, and I apologize again for it because I had set this up with today's data, but I can tell you that as of today, we've got about 28,431 cases total since the beginning, a year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago, and we're up to about 1,830 deaths. But that is by far low compared to other states in Mexico. I don't know how it compares to situation in the U.S. And by the way, just as a reference for you, the state of Colima is just slightly smaller than the state of New Jersey in the United States. And we've got about 1/2 the population of Rhode Island. The entire state has about 3/4 people. Our particular corner of the world is that first map I showed you up at the top of the state, and is little transit. We have had 6 students get light cases of COVID and recovered very completely. 2 of their family members also. And we had 1 staff member, of all things, she went to the States to see her son she hadn't seen in 16 years and came back from the States with COVID. So it's everywhere. The classes for the kids during this period have been, well, initially they were on computer and smartphones. They're also doing TV broadcasts now. We do have education assistance centers in which we have computers that they can come and use. And even though, technically speaking, we take care of kids that are from the 7th grade through university. We have, I'm sorry, that was not there. We do have what we call incentives, which are the elementary kids, in which we use them we incentivize them to do good grades, to learn what the program's about, and to strive for it when they move into the 7th grade. But many of them are coming to our cyber centers too, because at home they lack the computers and the internet in order to do so. This is what it looks like. Where the arrow is the county that we work in. As you can see, there's only 27 cases currently active in the entire county. Almost all of those are in the lower part of the county, away from where we are located. I am currently in the what you see there, the lower right-hand side, Tecoman, and it's got a lot more cases down in this area. It's a lot bigger population center also. But there is our county, and you can see that since the beginning of this, the entire county has only had 35 deaths. And I am not sure. I think we've had 1 or 2 up in the village we work in, but that is it. So we're pretty isolated, and so because of that, the people that come here typically are in very safe conditions. As you can see the state there, if you saw this on a big map, what you would realize is that there are no roads that run through it to someplace else. For example, if you go from San Diego to San Francisco, you got to go through LA and other places that along the way. And like that, if you go from New York to Boston, you go through Connecticut. We don't have that. people that come here have to want to actually come here. So that has kept traffic through here down, which is probably one of the biggest contributors to our having such low numbers of cases, which you can see there compared to other states. And these numbers are since the beginning of COVID. A year ago in February is when it became an issue here. So we feel very safe about where we're at, what we're doing, and also about the security that we can offer to those who come here. We have a protocol in all of our places. All the people that come to our centers have to wear face masks, which I keep mine right here next to me. On top of that, they get their temperature checked when they come in, and they're either sprayed with antibacterial spray and or have to wash their hands as soon as they come in, or use antibacterial gel. So there's a lot of safety before they even get in. We have spaced things out. If you look in the back there, you see 3 stars. We took out that middle space to give a little more space there so they're not so close together. This is one of our education assistance centers, and the young woman on the left is Alma Rincon, who runs the one in the city of Suchitlan. And after each use, each work surface and chair is washed down with a sanitizing agent, and all the keyboards and screens are also cleaned so that it's very safe for the next student who's going to come in to use that. So we keep our kids safe. During COVID situation, without transportation, without the need for school uniforms and things like that, the monies that we might have given them otherwise, we turned into food packages for these families who the parents have lost their jobs, they've gotten reduced work hours and things like that. And this has turned into a very useful action for these families, and they've been very grateful to get them. They tell us how they've shared them with aunts and uncles or grandparents. We hear things back like we may put in things they're not used to, like Jell-O or pancake mix. One young girl wrote to us that the thing she liked the most was something she had never had before: pancakes. So in the end, what does it mean to be involved with Project Amigo? Well, one is to join us for a service week. Another would be to sponsor a student, to host a presentation like we're doing here today, connect us with other Rotary clubs or civic organizations, faith-based groups, contribute to our wish list, get your company to match your fund, and items like that. By the way, if you buy online through Amazon, they have Amazon Smiles. You can designate Project Amigo as the recipient of any donations that Amazon makes, and we get those funds. We just got the very first check from them, by the way, very recently. So that, in essence, is what Project Amigo is. And what you see here is one of our university graduates done up for the Day of the Dead Festival, which is, of course, the 1st of November. And I open it up now to questions that you may have. And I ask that if you would like to receive our news bulletin, you put your email in the chat box, and we'll get those. So questions, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kirk. And we appreciate all what Project Amigo are doing. And thanks for coming to our meeting this morning. And even personally, this will also give me the opportunity for me to know more about Project Amigo and to think of ways I can also support and contribute to the progress of Project Amigo. Thank you once again. So having said that, I will also give room for others to ask questions before I will ask my questions. So do you have any questions, please?
You're muted.
Kim, you muted.
No, I just want to say it's nice meeting you, Kirk.
My pleasure.
When did Project Amigo start again? It's been decades, hasn't it?
Yes, Ted came down here the first time in 1984.
Okay.
But Project Amigo as a nonprofit was formally started in the U.S. in 1997 and here in Colima in October of 98.
Okay, very good. Nice work. Really nice work.
I have to tell you that I'm very proud to be working with this organization because I was brought here by my father when I was a young kid back in 1958. And growing up here, going to public schools, many of my classmates had to drop out to go to work for their families.
Mhm.
But working with an organization that now makes it possible for those young kids to get an education is very heartwarming to me.
Absolutely. It's fun to see the kids that have graduated and the stories of lawyers and doctors, and wonderful.
We have three students who are now working for hotels. They went through tourism. They're in Baja. They're in Cabo area and working there. We have one young man in Guadalajara working for Tata Motors. We have several that are in politics. Many different things. So it's wonderful, really.
And really, even if they're not in those positions, they grow up, they have an education, their kids, like you say, will get an education, and they have different values at that point.
Correct. And then they turn around in many cases. For instance, the doctor, she helped sponsor two of her brothers to go through college.
Mm-hmm.
I had to plug in my computer there. Sorry about that.
The good just keeps growing.
Yes. And Pat's been a great contributor, not just to the kids, which we greatly appreciate, but as a former nurse, every time we have an issue, she's right there to help us. Thank you, Pat.
Fantastic. And does she bring you pies too?
Pardon?
Does she bring you pies too?
No, she sells those. That's okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kirk.
My pleasure.
Yeah, do we still have any other question?
Uh-huh.
So, okay, let me just go ahead with my questions. So, like what I said earlier before your presentations, is that as a club, we are thinking of coming up with a week of service. So, and we are planning, if possible, maybe a second week in the month of April. But going through your presentations, I saw some of the programs that you have outlined, and I don't think April was not included. So my question now is that is there a way that we as a club can come up for a week of service in the month of April, or we need to fit into your calendar?
No, no, not at all. We can certainly set up something special. There's no problem there whatsoever. So if you say April and we have nothing scheduled, all we need is a week that you choose, and if you have a particular theme that you would like to have included, so we can set it up in time. Other than that, it's open.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for this brilliant answer. Yeah. I will get back to the club, and we'll come up with a date, and if we have like a special program we want to do, we'll let you know.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Kim, go
I
ahead.
have one more question for Kirk. Kirk, when do the young people have Christmas break? And when do they let out in December? And when do they get back in January, if they do?
It varies a little bit by the level of school that they're in,
We can talk about it later. I just wanted to know.
But typically it's around the 20th of December through the first week of of January.
Okay.
In some cases, like university is a little bit later, and their new semester starts usually in the first days of February.
Okay. Okay. I think it's similar to our middle schoolers. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk to him?
Yeah, I'm wondering, Kirk, how could our club make the biggest impact? What do you need the most right now?
Actually, probably the simplest, biggest impact would be something to the general fund where we can take what becomes most urgent and focus on that.
Totally understood. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And my last questions that I want to ask is, do you have like a, for us that want to attend, that is from the club, do you have like a financial commitment?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand.
For traveling there, Ola?
Yes, maybe, yes, apart from traveling, maybe there are things that we need to, maybe in terms of finance individually, that we need to do that is compulsory.
I'm not sure.
I think he means like normally it's like $1,200. There's a normal fee that goes along with the work weeks.
Thank you very much, Pat. Thanks.
The commitment, to be here, yes. Yeah, you provide your transportation, and it's $1,200 for the week, and for that week here, you receive your accommodations, your food, transportation, and all the activities that are involved.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fine. So do we still have any other questions? I don't think.
No, I think it was a great presentation. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Enhorabuena.
Gracias.
Yeah. Thank